MTUMBA business. MTUMBA, the famous MTUMBA business. Today we are talking about MTUMBA business. So what is MTUMBA entirely? MTUMBA refers to the second hand business. And clothes are important, not clothes generally only. It's clothes, shoes, bags, everything that can be sold is in MTUMBA. So they are important and resold here. There are things that have been used, some have been used slightly, some have not been used, and some have been overused. It's up to you to know which one you want to start selling. So why MTUMBA? MTUMBA is cheap for buyers and it is highly profitable for sellers. The reason you should choose MTUMBA business this 2026, if you're confused about what to sell, is there is low startup costs. Even with 1,000, 2,000, you have your business there. The other thing is MTUMBA has high demand. He said it's cheap to the buyers. High demand. You find that a person will tend to go to MTUMBA to buy stuff because they tend to buy more. So it's low startup, cheap to the buyers. It has very high demand, and you know when something has high demand, you tend to sell more. And then it's very flexible, kind of a business. Flexible in things like you don't have to be there at this particular time. You can sell anything. You can mix whatever you want to sell because those things even don't look alike. If it's this cup, let me give an example with this cup. You find maybe just a set or one of it, and then the other cups are different. Very flexible, and then you can start small and grow. Very easy to start small and grow. So who buys MTUMBA? Now you're starting MTUMBA business. Who buys MTUMBA? Mostly it's students. So if you're targeting students, you have to know what students love. The other thing is market shoppers. As everybody, market shoppers is anybody who loves to dress well, fashion, someone with fashion sense, someone who doesn't wearing things that look alike, like the new clothes. And then we have the low and middle income earners, and those are the most here in Kenya. If you're watching me from Kenya, those are the most. The low and middle, those people wear MTUMBA. And then we have the boutique resellers. Those people with high head, they wait for those very fine pieces, and then they go to resell in those high-end boutiques. Yeah, I know you didn't know that. They'll call you and say, hey, I want that stuff. You sell them, and then they go sell in their boutique. They display as if it's new after ironing, And then we have niche buyers. These are people like who buy vintage. You find that someone wants something like this MTUMBA, this something thrifted. Very unique. You'll never find anyone with this. I wanted to show you something else that is unique to MTUMBA. Because for me, I shop MTUMBA in those middle income, and this, my tissue holder, it's thrifted, but you see the beauty, it's something that we call vintage. You know, the vintage buddies or something branded. You can't get this anywhere. You see, it's just a piece, one, and I love it. So you have to target such customers, and then you have to check for patterns. You just don't sell some stuff anywhere. If you're targeting students, they dress skimpily, they're almost naked. So you need to sell them crop tops, those short skirts, jumpsuits, something fancy. Students want to look fancy. So if you're targeting students, go for the fancy stuff. If you're targeting people like me, mostly I have kids. So I'll be buying kids stuff. I'll be buying this unique stuff I said. Then we have, maybe if you're targeting people in hot areas, you have to look at the climate, you have to look at who you're targeting, you have to look at how is the area what happens there? Are there schools? Because if you're targeting schools, then you must know if there are many schools there, that means there are many parents. These parents will wear tops, they wear trousers, and they also buy stuff for their kids. And then you have to do a market research. Search around. What do you see? What is in your area? Like where I live, you find that mostly the generation is old. So these people will, most of the time, they are buying stuff that either they want for themselves, not for their children. If you're in an area like Umoja, Kayole, those areas, they need it's a growing population. So if you factor in children, their parents, you're going to be selling, you're going to be in business. Mtumba, you have to be in business for you to experience those high profits. So how do you start? Mtumba, you have to now decide what are you going to sell. I'll tell you to niche first so that you understand it well. If it's the first time you're being in Gikomba, the first time you're going to Korogosho and Toy Market, actually those are the big markets in Kenya. We have Gikomba Market, we have Korogosho, and we have Toy Market. But most of the people tend to go to Gikomba because you find everything there, and the prices in Gikomba, I'll tell you, I've compared the prices. I'm talking from experience. The prices in Gikomba are very, very affordable. It's something that gives you profit. So you have to know which market you want to go to. I advise you to go to Gikomba, not because I know anybody there, but because you get everything you want there and the price is okay. Korogosho is a bit off town, so if you're in that area of Easterns, Korogosho is for you. They have their market days on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Toy Market, I'm not so sure about it, but I know the prices don't get to Gikomba side. Gikomba is a bit lower. So you decide where you're getting. You have decided maybe you're going to Korogosho, Gikomba, or Toy Market. Then what are you selling? Because you can't sell everything. You can decide to go men, you can decide to do women, ladies, or children. You can also decide to do bags. You can also decide to do shoes. You can decide to do household. You can decide to do what else? Yeah, mostly those there. So decide what you want to sell. Let me give you an example with shoes, because Mimi, I sell shoes. Please go and check out my page, Lisam Shoe Thrifts. I sell shoes there. So I sell shoes. And for shoes, you can determine whether to sell ladies, men, unisex, children. You can decide to start with any. I'll advise you to start with any, depending on how you saw your market research. Who people are there, children, are there adults? Just do it. So for shoes, there is a special language there. You need to understand that language so that when ukienda and then they tell you hiyo kiatu ni 18, you know what they mean actually. They mean actually it's not 1800. Unaweza pata hiyo kiatu it's between 400 and 600. So you need to understand the language of Gikomba so that you don't get overpriced. Because if you get overpriced, the seller will just be happy. So the other thing is you need to just determine, I'm going to start with this amount of money, and after you have started, how do you intend to sell? Are you going to walk around hawking? Are you going to start a kibada? Are you going to sell online? So as you start, you need to have determined how do you intend to sell your stock. So you can go for online. You can go online is where you come home, get very good photos of your wares, whatever you chose, whatever you decided to sell, and then you post it on your WhatsApp status, your TikTok, Facebook, Insta, wherever, just online. And then for hawking, you just pick your wares, have them ironed, and then go walking around selling. If it's a kibada, you go to Gikomba, get your stuff, it gets ironed, and then you go and do what? Hang in your kibada and sell. So for you to just make it well in this business, you have to check that whatever you are selling is something good, because I'm telling you, referrals in business are the key. If I sell to a customer today and the customer comes back, I have won. If that customer goes and tells somebody else, I have won more. So you need to work on that. You need to work on the getting the customer coming back to you, or even referring you or mentioning your name when someone asks in the post or a Facebook post, where can I get this? At least let them mention you. At least make sure that you're being seen here on Facebook or on TikTok so that people can know this person deals with this. So the other thing is, when you're selecting your stuff, make sure that the stuff is clean, no stains, no it's not worn out. Just make sure that you're selling something that you too can wear without feeling like it's torn, it's dirty, it is stained. And then before you ask me about pricing, before I forget, in Mutumba there's that secret of always get your 100% profit. If you bought something at 100, the minimum you can sell it is 200. This is a secret that I am stealing to you. Make sure that if you get something at 200, the minimum you get is 400 or 350, because you have to factor in your transport, you have to factor in if you ate, if it is a blouse and it got ironed, you have to factor in that. You also have to factor in, if you're selling online, you have to factor in your bundles, your Wi-Fi. If you're walking, you have to factor in your energy, water. If you're selling in a kibada, you have to factor in your rent, you have to factor in the time you took in the market, and also those other things that you did to make sure that that cloth hung there is looking superb. So you have to factor in all those stuff. And then I've already said how to sell. You can market online, you can have a kibada, you can hawk, and you can do the WhatsApp groups if you have the WhatsApp, that is online. And then for you to maintain your business, there are some customer service tips that I'll give you. Please be honest. If something is torn, let the customer know it's torn. If something is not the size the customer wants, please let them know it's not the size or the color. If it's faded, please let the customer know it is faded. And then also you can allow try-ons within your area. Like if you're in Nairobi and the customer is within Nairobi and they want to try, please don't be like, no, you don't try my clothes. Let them try. If it's shoes, we take them shoes to them and they try, and we are okay with that. So okay, accept try-ons. And also sometimes you offer discounts for returning customers. Like if you're selling something at 400 and then you calculate that if you sell at 350, you're not making any loss. In fact, you're having some your profit. Allow discounts. And also update if it's your online, always keep your buyers updated. And mistakes to avoid: as you start, don't buy too much stock, because it will come and become stagnant. And keep your money in stock. And then don't ignore the market trend. Something that is trending, please hype into it and get it. Also check quality of what you're selling, and don't overprice. As much as we are making profit, don't overprice. And also keep good records. So let's come to records. Record how much you bought an item, how much you intend to buy it, and how much you sold it for. And you save, because as you start, you need to focus on scaling up your business. So if you started at 2,000, 3 months to come, you should be at around something higher, not going down. So don't eat into your profits. Don't eat so much into the business. Let the business be able to sustain itself. If this helped you, please hit like, subscribe. And if you're starting a business, let me know in the comment section which business you're starting. I might be of help.